One of the ways that we've been able to utilize video is during reflective supervision. Supervisor is usually not able to go out on those visits with you, but we can take a video of kind of what's been going on and bring that back, and rather than me try and remember what happened in that visit, we can actually sit down together and go through the video.
There are a few things helpful about staff bringing video back and us reviewing it together. One is that it's one less person in the home. I think it can be more comfortable for the family and the staff. And we also have geographic barriers that we have to deal with. We cover 3 counties. So for me to try to drive from one county to another, just really takes up a lot of time that can be used otherwise. It's also nice for the staff because they don't have to think about everything that they've said. We can watch that together in real time and just pause it and talk about, all the great things that they're doing, and then some things for improvement.
Today I sat down with my supervisor for reflective supervision, and the video that we reviewed wasn't when I was in the home doing a face-to-face visit. It was actually a virtual visit that I had done with the family. So that's another component. We can record those videos and have them here to review. There are a lot of things that you see that you're happy that you did, that it makes you feel good. Okay, I am on the right track. That's where we started going over everything.
Right, yep. Yeah, good job, I agree. Okay.
But then there are things that you get a lot of support from. When I originally did the video, I thought the session went okay, and I knew there were probably some areas that I could have worked on, but actually sitting down and listening to the video, when my supervisor stopped the video and asked me, to reflect on a certain part, I realized that at that point, I was asking a lot of yes/no questions.
Let's start requesting that from you a little bit. And so maybe you can,
Okay.
My yes/no questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started off with them. I have a series of them there where I tend to ask, and then before I even let her answer, I'm kind of giving her options so she can answer yes, no, or giving her ideas rather than waiting for her to come back with it on her own. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So in that situation, what do you feel like you could have done differently?
I need to just take a pause and, when I ask a question, first of all, try to make sure it's not a yes/no question, but then really wait for her to think of the feedback on her own rather than giving her the options and the different types of feedback.
Okay.
I realized that I needed to reflect more and provide more feedback to the family rather than just jump in and ask those questions and lead the family in a certain direction.
There were lots of good things that Jaime was doing that she picked up on, but she also noticed that there were some times when she was giving a lot of directive feedback to the family, giving a lot of suggestions, and they were great suggestions. But we just talked about how could she have done that a little bit differently.
We'd kind of brainstormed some ways that we could do this, and so I should have asked her what they were trying, and instead I, kind of went in and said, maybe you could do this, or maybe you could do that. So I was suggesting a lot there rather than letting her tell me what she did, and then trying to think of some, have her dig a little deeper and find some more ways to.
Okay. And Jamie's very good. She came up with some different ideas, and she noticed that in this situation, asking the family rather than telling them might have been a more effective way to go. And maybe doing some observations in that situation rather than telling the family try A, B, and C, actually look at the child jumping on the trampoline and then giving some input right there in the moment. Is there one of those components that maybe you could have used there?
Well, I think some of those reflective questions and just having her reflect on the event, that he's been practicing and seeing, how it's going. And then, at one point we get to a point where we could have done an observation and they could have taken me along, through this virtual visit and even showed me how that worked. But I think maybe just starting with those reflective questions and having her kind of see, reflect on her own actions of what had been happening.
In the moment, you don't have a lot of time to stop and reflect, and then you forget a lot of what you're doing. So having the video right in front of us to go piece by piece through is really beneficial.
I think it's been a nice learning experience for me too. We're all in this together, and I'm learning a lot from Jaime as well, and the other staff that we do reflective supervision with. So being able to talk about that together, I think just that shared experience is much more effective than someone trying to do it on their own. And having that conversation really just deepens our knowledge for me and for the staff member.
I find this to be one of the best ways that we can use video, and this type of reflective supervision helps you grow as a professional. It helps you stop and kind of dissect what you're doing and learn what you need to do differently and ways that you can change certain things that you kind of maybe get in a habit of doing or feel like, you're doing the right way. And when you stop and kind of look through things, you realize that there are some things you could change to help you grow and become a better professional.